It's time once again for another thrilling episode of Markout Radio. For the next hour, sit back, pull the stick out of your ass, and enjoy. Be warned though, smarks and internet know-it-alls will be offended, annoyed, and generally pissed off at what's about to happen to your ear holes. You've been warned. Now, Markout Radio.
That's right. Another episode of Markout Radio. Episode 12, November 20, 1995. Your go-home for Nitro for the World War III pay-per-view coming up this Sunday back in ye old 1995. Your hosts, as usual, are going to be... Dave Thammer here with you. Your hosts of the actual fucking Nitro, though. Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Steve Mongo McMichael, and, it's... I don't know. Is this going to be any better than last week's? I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. I mentioned last week that I was going to find out what the actual capacity is for here. And here's the best I can find, all right? So, for hockey and arena football, they can seat 7,182 people. That's the best I can do for you. I'm sorry. So that's considerably less capacity than last week's venue, and we still don't know how many people actually paid to see it. However, we do know that they actually beat Raw in the ratings by 0.2 of a point. You got 2.5 Raw's 2.3, which is interesting because that was Raw's go-home for Survivor Series. Now, Survivor Series had 14,500 people there, and World War III ends up having 12,000. Not bad. Not bad. Overall, Nitro this week got a score of 2 out of me, though. So buckle in, Buttercups, because this one's going to be a little rough, especially considering this is the go-home version of Nitro for the World War III pay-per-view they've been promoting for the last month. All right, so dark matches this week. Dave Sullivan, Eved, as those of us affectionately call him, defeats the Gambler, quote-unquote jobber. Johnny B. Bad, the television champion, defeats Diamond Dallas Page to retain the WCW World Television Championship. And the American males, Marcus Alexander and... No, because we get in trouble for that. It doesn't matter if it's only on for 8 seconds. I got in shit for it from fucking YouTube. I was on for 8 seconds before I started talking, and I got in shit for it. Yes, you're not the one that has to do the fucking paper. I swear to Christ. Fucking fade it out. Fade it out, bitch. We will have a problem. All right, thank you. Jesus. All right. The American males defeat the Barrio brothers, Fidel Sierra and Ricky Barrio. Barrio? I don't know. I'm trying not to call him Burrito because that just feels racially insensitive. So the show goes by on the air, and the first note on my script here is the TV titles back in the dark matches, which, well, listen, it's a shame for 2 reasons. One, the television champion should be on television. Rob Van Dam was, so what the fuck is going on here? But also because of Kim Page. Can we not see more? I know that eventually we'll see a lot more because, the Playboy spread, but also because of the Nitro girls. But, not for nothing. Let's get a little more Kim Page out there, would we? Huh? Maybe? Kinda? Sorta? I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. All right, so then we've got... what do we got here? Yes. The Talking Heads put over the main event hard. Heenan hopes that Sting punches Hogan's ticket and then falls headfirst down some stairs. They put over that this is a pay-per-view caliber main event and continue to plug that all night long. First match of the night, Scott Norton defeats the Shark in 1 minute 44. That one got a
0.0.
Thank you, Dean Wormer. Shark run in during Nitro's Norton's entrance. Gets no-sold entirely by Norton, which is the beginning of an entire match of no-selling shit and garbage. Now, listen, I like Norton a lot, but this match is a big steaming pile of shit from the word go. Bischoff puts over the 1-900 number, claiming that the only place you can find out where wrestlers have left the WCW is going to be on the 1-900 number. You wouldn't be able to actually turn on television and see that on the WWE or the ECW, of course, because That would involve using a switcher, which you are encouraged repeatedly during this show to stop using. But we're not at war yet. Botched finish here. Everyone looks confused as the 2 count leads to a bell. After this, a World War III promo. Mean Gene afterwards is in the ring, or on the ramp, with Sullivan and Hart. Mean Gene calls Hart the original Benedict Arnold. Here I thought original meant that you'd have to actually be Benedict Arnold, but what the fuck am I talking about? Hart stirs the pot of jealousy as Sting is playing second best friend to Hulk Hogan. Oh my God, he's only my second best friend. It's so wrong. It's not right. Jesus fuck, who wrote this shit? Fucking Hogan Sullivan booking right from the word go. Sullivan puts over the World War III pay-per-view. Now, we're approaching quickly the end of Sullivan's tenure as the head booker, so some of this campy 80s wrestling bullshit's about to go bye-bye. After this, Eddie Guerrero defeats Brian Pillman in 6 minutes, 27 seconds. I gave that one 3 out of 5. Excellent match. There are a couple of things, though, that we need to hit pause on as far as this match goes on. The first one, of course, is how the match starts, with Disco Inferno coming out to shake his ass and Flash's CD. Now, for you kids at home, CDs are what you put music on after everyone got sick of all those cool clicks and pops that records make that all you fucking retards are now buying again. Bischoff quips that Disco was trying to hawk them out of the parking lot for $49. Sadly, that's not much of a joke. Before music acts got in on the $40 t-shirt kick, they would sell CDs, tapes for way more than you would at a store. And Jesus Christ, like nowadays you can buy $10 t-shirts at WWE Shop on sale. But if you're lucky, because most of the time those fucking t-shirts, the wrestler t-shirts, are $40. Now listen, a real bargain would be if you head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/markout for a $20 Markout Radio tee. Free plug for myself. Oh my God! Guerrero's theme hits and Eddie comes out to shoo away Disco and try not to laugh while doing so. Originally, this was scheduled to be Eddie and Flair. Instead, Flair comes out during Pillman's entrance in street clothes, which for Flair, of course, is a sharp suit. He cuts an in-ring promo basically saying that he's not going to job to Eddie. Pillman can go ahead and do that, and no one is quite sure why. Probably going to be one of the Kevin Sullivan specials, or maybe this was a Hogan gimmick and was ultimately changed by Flair at the last minute because he had creative control of his own fucking character. So if you wrote in there that the head horseman was going to job to some fucking ham and egger that they've been promoting for 3 weeks, yeah, I'd probably pull the fucking trigger on that one too. Bischoff, of course, during this match quips that you should stop changing channels between here and there, even though we're not at war yet. Because this is where the big boys play while you have 2 cruiserweights in the ring wrestling. Jesus. Fucking.
All right.
Pillman starts us off by waving his red jacket in Eddie's face like a matador. Very subtle racism. It's about to get less subtle, though, because the camera microphone picks up Pillman screaming, "Come on, you third world trash," after pie facing Guerrero a couple of times. Jesus. Now listen, there's heel heat and then there's X-Pac heat. And I feel like Pillman was starting to touch the sun. Pillman got his dropkick reversal when Eddie came off the top rope for a double axe handle smash. No one really went for it in the audience, which was interesting because I would have thought that spot would get a great pop. But I'll tell you what did get a really nice pop, though. Eddie's huge flying crossbody from the corner to Pillman outside of the ring. That got a nice pop. Now, there's no actual program being worked here, but this whole fucking jobbing to Eddie Guerrero thing actually kind of hurts the Horseman. Benoit's been a Horseman for a week and 2 days, and here we've got the guy that's been with the Horseman for the past, 3-4 months, who's now jobbing to some guy that they brought in from Mexico AAA because they're trying to get him over. Still, I mean, it was a very good match. I mean, not a very good match, but a pretty good match. For Nitro, up until this point, it was a pretty good match. I gave this one 3 out of 5. After this, we get a WCW Saturday Night promo, followed by a recap from last week with Luger re-injuring Macho's quote-unquote fully healed arm, and already damaged ribs. Why he wouldn't tape up his ribs, but take the tape off his arm, no one's really quite sure. After this, Road Warrior Hawk defeats Big Bubba Rogers in 3 minutes, 48 seconds. I gave it 1.5 out of 5. Holy fuck. Two really big dudes, both blown up within 60 seconds. No selling a fucking storm up. Bubba tapes a roll of quarters onto his fist, hits the ropes, and gets tripped up by a Zubaz-wearing Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Bubba punches himself in the face with the quarters as he hits the mat, and Hawk gets the pin, even though Bubba's foot is actually underneath the bottom rope, requiring a breakup even in the fucking 90s. I gave it 1 point for a decent match and half a point for the taped fisting leading to a match at World War III. If you watch the pay-per-view after listening to this episode, you'll see what I mean. They basically have a Duggan versus Big Bubba Rogers taped fist match that was, when you don't come down to the ring with your fists already taped up and you just rely on, while you're trying to catch your breath, taping your fists up, it's probably not going to go over that well, and believe me, it didn't. Anyways, there was a bit of verbal diarrhea from the talking heads, and no one was really talking about this match. They just kept talking about the main event, which, for those of you listening to this, you'd be like, yeah, and the fuck is wrong with you? Why would that matter? We get that every week on Raw. That's true. You do. You get it every week on WWE programming. But back in the day, only, 20-something years ago, announcers used to talk about the match going on in the ring. I know. Weird, right? Yes! All right, after that, Hogan and Sting fight to a no contest in 9 minutes, 31 seconds. Now listen, I gave this 3 out of 5 because it actually built for the pay-per-view. All right? So don't judge me. It did something, even if it was very, very 80s. Sting comes out in red and yellow. The talking heads all react like you actually want them to react. Mongo's got no clue what's going on because he's a retard. Bischoff explains that this is to bring Hogan back to the light side. All right. And Brain buries it as a slap in the face to Hulkamania. All right. So basically, the three people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. But as soon as Sting comes out, there is a commercial break followed by a World War III promo. Savage comes out to Hogan's music. He comes down the ramp a little bit to valet for Hogan, but Hogan instead makes the same entrance as Savage made last week, coming in from the crowd wearing the stupid Phantom of the Opera mask, but at least he doesn't have the fucking shitty black paunchy face paint on. Hogan's wrestling in a black sleeveless shirt and long black tights with dark red flames going up the sides and legit cowboy boots, which of course don't have their soles gripped. So he was sliding all over the fucking place in the ring. But that being said, he did sell well and worked Sting lightly. So say what you will, they do work really well together. It's a shame that we never really get to see a huge Hogan Sting program. I mean, we get teases of it on Nitro, and then we get some heat and some promos, but there's never really a program with a big blow-off match. The best we're going to get is going to be the Crow Sting versus Hollywood Hogan, which isn't bad. It's just, it's not kind of what I was hoping for. And of course, we weren't going to get that Hogan Warrior kind of thing going, right? Like, where it's this huge fucking big blow up and like the big pop and everything, right? Like, I don't care really who won after that because, you know, both wrestlers are fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So it could be what it was. Raw hits its commercial break. So Bischoff welcomes fans turning the channel and putting over WCW and World War III. But remember, we're not at war yet. At least according to Bischoff's stupid 83 weeks and his memoirs and everything. We're not at war. Pump your fucking brakes. Hogan powers out of Sting's submission the first time. Starts hulking up even though he's getting heat. Lots of heat from the fans. And the fans are putting over the punches anyways, which could have been piped in. I couldn't really tell. The big boot misses. The big leg drop. Hogan kayfabe hurts his knee. Sting puts him into the Scorpion Deathlock again. Hogan begs Macho to help him before Sting breaks his leg. Actually a pretty good spot. Dungeon of Doom now run in, causing a DQ. And even though they hit Sting first, they're not going to call it a win for Sting. It's just a double DQ. Match itself was pretty good. Builds the pay-per-view. Decent, solid ending for our Nitro go-home. Get a commercial break. Coming back, we've got Sullivan just beating the holy piss out of Bobby the Brain Heenan, which is absolutely the best way that Nitro can possibly go off the air.
Well, that was an abortion of a show. Should the mood take you, check out markoutradio.com.